Hello and welcome to Western Motors, Ireland's premium Volkswagen dealer. Today we are going to give you a tour through the available spec for the ID4 range for 2026. We're going to show you what way you can spec the car, what that spec entails, what batteries you can choose, performance, and just a general overview of the range. For 2026, we can configure the ID4 in 7 different trim levels. We start with the Pure, we move off to the Pure Plus, then to the Pro Plus, the Pro Style, and the range-topping GTX and GTX Plus. We can opt for 2 different battery sizes in the ID4, however we get 3 different power levels from it. We start with the 52 kilowatt hour battery, and that's good for about 360 kilometers of WLTP range. It's a rear mounted motor with 170 brake horsepower. Then we bump up to the 77 kilowatt hour car. We make 286 brake horsepower and 556 kilometers of WLTP range. However, when we jump up to the GTX spec, we still maintain our 77 kilowatt hour battery. However, now we make 340 horsepower, a dual motor setup, and we get 526 kilometers of WLTP range. Charging times too on the ID4 are pretty impressive. We can DC fast charge it up to 135 kilowatts per hour, meaning we'll get from 0 to 80% in about 38 minutes on the bigger battery cars and slightly less on the smaller battery car. However, it's also capable of AC fast charging at up to 11 kilowatts per hour. So the standard wall box at home is going to charge this car in about 8 hours to full. Entry level into the ID4 starts in the Pure range, but to call it entry seems a little inane, to be fair. Some of the standard features on it are pretty incredible, and they include 18-inch alloy wheels, the 12.9-inch infotainment touchscreen display here with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay built into it, on top of all sorts of Volkswagen's own systems that are really handy and useful in the background. Heated seats, we get a multifunction steering wheel, and this steering wheel has cruise control, but it also has the advanced radar cruise control and lane assist as standard. Opt for Pure Plus and we get fallen alloy wheels this time, 18-inch again on the outside. We get rear tinted glass, and in the Pure and Pure Plus spec we can opt for the 52 kilowatt hour battery with up to 364 kilometers of WLTP range. Upgrade to Pro, and now we get 19-inch wheels on the outside. We get an upgraded stereo infotainment system with more speakers, and we have dynamic road sign display as standard. Upgrade to the Pro Plus pack, and on the outside we get the 19-inch hammer alloy wheels. We get the full LED headlamp IQ light system. Internally we get extra USB-C ports. We get the Discover Pro navigation system as standard, and we can opt for the 77 kilowatt hour battery. Now that gives us 546 kilometers of WLTP range and 286 brake horsepower. Pro Style builds on Pro Plus's spec, giving us a different option for the alloy wheels on the outside, still 19-inch. On the inside we get 30-way adjustable ambient lighting this time, and we get sportier seats with different interior materials used. Upgrade to the range-topping GTX, and now we get 20-inch Yastad alloy wheels on the outside. We get GTX-specific exterior style, and we also get a bespoke GTX interior with different interior trims and an upgraded stereo system. However, if we move up to the GTX Plus, we get a head-up display, and we get the Harman Kardon stereo upgrade now as standard. The GTX also gets the 77 kilowatt hour battery. However, our WLTP range comes down slightly to 526 kilometers. However, for that reduction we get a dual motor setup this time with 340 brake horsepower, and it can take care of the 0 to 100 sprint in less than 5.5 seconds. Now, the ID4 more generally is to be madly commended in the way it's designed and laid out. It's a fantastically laid out car. Everything I touch or come into contact with just feels like it's built of the highest quality stuff. It's typical Volkswagen Audi Group stuff, when you close the door, it's just with such a reassuring thud. It feels so well made. It's a really fabulous car. The layout again is absolutely great. Visibility out of the car is superb. You can see everywhere, and the use of the physical footprint inside the car is huge. This car is not a massively huge car on the outside. However, its architecture was always to be EV, so it'll never have to accommodate petrol or diesel engine on the inside. So there's no intrusion into the cab whatsoever when it comes to space. We get to push the bulkheads really far forward in the car and really far back. The motors are small, so they can be tucked down out of the way, and we end up with a huge boot. We end up with a gigantic interior though. The interior is truly, truly huge, without, again, being gargantuan on the outside. It's a very clever way of doing stuff. And just some of the standard spec on it too are fantastic. Like we said earlier, we get lots of USB-C ports as standard. Some models upgraded, but we've got wireless phone charging pads, ample amounts of storage space, coffee cup holders, and an enormous open space here that we can close up if you've got anything that you want to keep away from people looking in windows. Underneath the center console, we've more usable space. The door bins are huge. It's a really, really good car. Anyway, from here, what I think we should do is get into the back and see if that gigantic space continues. So into the back of the ID4, and that large size continues, as I said. For scope, I'm 6'1". I could stand to lose a few pounds, certainly, so I take up quite a bit of space. As it sits right now, I've got 5 to 6 inches of knee room. My feet go out under the seat in front of me perfectly, to the point that my knees are uncomfortable. I don't want to be this stretched out. Headroom, I've got a full fist's worth of headroom above my head. It's a really big space. 3 adults are easily going to fit across the centre of this car. I know that to be true because I've been in it with 2 other adults in the back of my friend's one. There's no hump in the floor, as I say, so it's an easy prospect to have even large children in here. We get 2 ISOFIX points on each side, and those large bulky child's booster seats do fit between the ISOFIX seats in the middle. I've seen it again from experience, so you're gonna get 3 kids in here, 2 in baby seats and 1 on a booster without any problem whatsoever. Around to the back of the ID4, and we get 1 body style only in the car. However, we get a more than generous 543 litres of usable boot space. It's a cavernous big space. All models have folding seats, and with the seats down and the parcel shelf out, we get up to around 1,560 usable litres of cargo space. So out driving the ID4, and it does the thing that electric cars do that petrol cars just cannot do, petrol or diesel should I say. The quietness and refinement level inside the cab is exceptional. We have no vibrations from engines, we have no noise, no intrusion, no nothing. It's just lovely and quiet. Now the ID4 also benefits from having a pretty large tyre wall. No matter what size wheel we spec, we end up with a nice large amount of tyre wall, and that really adds to sound deadening, and it adds to comfort as we drive along in it. Driving along in it and the comfort, moving back to that, it's exceptional. It's exceptional. It irons out bumps and creases and undulations in the road absolutely perfectly. It really takes care of them well. All of the weight in an EV is always in the floor. It's down as low as is possible, and that's the best possible place to put weight in a car, whether it's for handling or just comfort more generally. So the car handles exceptionally well, whether it's on twisting, undulating B roads like this. That low centre of gravity just makes the car handle superbly, and added to all the modern safety devices and tech we have in here, the car's taking care of an awful lot of the stuff. You can really go across these roads absolutely perfectly, but it also likes these national speed limit or motorway roads. You just clip along at 100k per hour in pretty much silence with the radar cruise control switched on and the active lane guide working out for us. Just as an anecdote, my friend, one of my best friends, has one of these things, and he drives it to France every year for the past 4 years. It also loves this: stop-start traffic. This is where electric cars and EVs more generally shine. They recoup a huge amount of power from regenerative braking, and they're down to effectively one pedal drive at this stage. Once we have the car in B mode, we only have to press the brakes for the very last segment to bring the car to a complete halt. But what a car like this does is it gives us back the option to have a large, economical SUV in the city without having to worry about DPF filters, fuel injectors, and the whole host of other things that go wrong with big diesel cars based in the city. So that's it. We've come to the end of our guide through the 2026 ID4. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully it made it a little easier for you when you're configuring your ID4. What we'll do from here is we will head back to Western Motors and we'll hand you over to one of the brand ambassadors there for Volkswagen, or alternatively you can hang on and use the information provided on screen to book your test drive today for one of these fantastic cars. With the range the way it is in terms of battery performance, price and spec, there absolutely is an ID4 out there to suit you.
My name is Stuart Hitchcock. I'm Volkswagen car sales executive here at Western Motors. Volkswagens are super cool. There's a wide variety of models for everyone. We also have a fantastic aftercare then as well. Customers choose Western Motors because it's a family-run business with specifically trained staff to understand and listen to the customer. We also have a top quality after-sales care to ensure customer loyalty.